Ron DeSantis is facing growing questions over his campaign strategy and poor polling. A leaked memo shows the Florida governor is looking to reassure donors and convince them not to jump ship. That confidential campaign memo obtained by NBC News discusses DeSantis' plan to focus on early voting states like New Hampshire and hold off on Super Tuesday spending as part of that goal. It also puts more of a spotlight on DeSantis' biography and draws a contrast with other candidates like Senator Tim Scott. Joining us now is Chris Stirewalt, NewsNation political editor. Okay, Chris, call me a skeptic here, but I read this memo and I thought to myself, this was meant to be leaked. I mean, here's a perfectly, crafted memo, a shining resume, how he's different from the others. Oh, no, it fell into the wrong hands. Am I wrong? I mean, what's your gut check on this?
Are you suggesting that in American politics that people would put out things just for leaking purposes so that they would get swept up in the political press?
Right, Chris Stirewalt.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know. That's a pretty crazy assertion. No, of course. You don't send this out, at least at the minimum, if you don't want it, if you're not okay with it getting out, if you didn't write it for those very purposes. And, what's going on right now in the Republican Party is, if you think about it this way, a very long-running convention. It's a year-long convention in which elites and rank-and-file voters in the Republican Party sort out the question of who is best for them. And DeSantis has a problem, which is his strategy takes him right at Donald Trump. The way that he's run, the way that he's running, and what he's doing looks to blow a hole right in Donald Trump's coalition. But at the same time, if that's what happens, if the two of them get bogged down fighting with each other and DeSantis is hurting Trump, DeSantis is also taking incoming on his own. And we've seen his numbers steadily drip, drip, drip down.
Right.
He mentions Tim Scott. He talks about those other candidates for that very reason. Because if Trump and DeSantis can hurt each other sufficiently, it becomes possible for somebody else to run through the gap.
Yeah, and as I mentioned off the top, a big part of this memo was trying to keep current donors on board. And this leak comes after what's been a rough week of headlines for him, including reports that some of his top donors could be looking to alternatives instead. So does DeSantis face a difficult task in reassuring these donors?
Running for president is extraordinarily difficult. Only 45 people in history have succeeded. It's really tough. And I think early beliefs among Republican donors and political professionals that somehow Ron DeSantis could swap out for Donald Trump and that the field could be cleared for the young Florida governor were totally misplaced. Now, that doesn't mean Ron DeSantis is done. What it means is he's facing a time of decision. Is he going to continue to take the fight to Trump, or is he going to turn and attack the Republicans who aren't Donald Trump in hopes of consolidating that part of the party? The danger, of course, for Republicans who aren't Trump is that if DeSantis believes that now is the time to go on the attack against them, that will strengthen Trump.
And the DeSantis campaign in this reported memo says Senator Tim Scott is being given a quote, serious look by voters, but he'll likely be scrutinized in the weeks ahead. But the campaign found low to no interest in candidates like Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley as well. But Chris, is that accurate? Isn't Ramaswamy the one who seems to be having the momentum right now?
Well, I mean, that'd be one way to put it. He's certainly getting
unlikely, but momentum.
Well, I mean, he's getting a lot of media attention. He is very wealthy. He's used his money to game the Republican fundraising system. He is putting an intense effort into Iowa. He's getting a lot of looks in Iowa. There's no doubt about that. The question with Ramaswamy is the same for others in that tier, which is you can generate buzz. Doug Burgum is giving away money to raise money so he can try to get on the debate stage, for example. You can figure out how to game the system. You can get a little attention. But what you asked earlier points to the real question. This is kicking the tires. This is checking things out. The debates start in a little bit more than a month. And as we move into the fall, Republican voters are going to make a choice about, okay, who do we really want? Who can go the distance? Who can do the thing? And if you've never been elected to public office before, Donald Trump did it. But Donald Trump did it as one of the most famous people in the country who had almost run for president in 2012. As you get toward the end, not having ever held elective office, probably becomes a problem for those non-Trump voters.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.